Taoiseach, in the programme for government, I would like to highlight the section on building stronger and safer communities. Page 84 of your own document. Quote, "Community safety is at the heart of the ongoing transformation of the Garda Síochána. The new government will ensure that this will be a key part in the social contract with citizens. Garda Síochána, enriched with its resilience, links in the area and the people it works with and protects." End of quote. There must be a proper clarity regarding the protection of all our citizens, especially children, following the recent COVID. It has come to my attention in my constituency that various people are coming either back from holidays or from working abroad in the UK, Germany and other countries and are not isolating. We must look after the children and the families that are staying at home in Ireland and not travelling for holidays. When looking through the programme for government regarding community safety, I must ask you, how will returning to school be policed? There are people travelling by air and by ferries. There must be a system linked to passport numbers so schools can be alerted in advance of children that should be isolating. I also have an additional question. Where parents are travelling for work and returning home to families, these children may need to stay out of school while parents are isolating. We are fast approaching September, and isolating for children would have to have commenced by the middle of August, so that these children can go back to school.
Deputy Taoiseach.
Well, as we have said and consistently said, the safest thing to do during COVID-19 right now is not to travel and to holiday in Ireland and to stay at home. And one of our overarching priorities, and why we've taken a very cautious approach, particularly in terms of the recommencement of phase 4, for example, and in relation to compulsory wearing of masks on public transport, which I ensured happened the week before last, and which the public complied with very, very quickly. It's very, very important, and all of that was based on the overarching objective of getting our schools open at the end of August. I think that's essential for the well-being of the children of the nation, their development, and I think to me it's the number one priority. And alongside of it, the resumption of non-COVID strand of health services. So in my view, there are clear guidance there in terms of anyone who travels outside of those 15 countries that we've identified should restrict their movements when they return to Ireland, and without question. And in our view, they should, we don't want families travelling to holidays outside of those 15 countries in the first place, and it's very, very important that they don't risk the capacity of schools to open, or indeed create situations where which could lead to the spread of the virus. So it's extremely important that all of our that we adhere to the guidance and the guidelines. Ireland has done well in relation to COVID-19. The levels are still low in Ireland. It's important to make that point. And when I was just back from the European Council, it was noticeable that some member states are finding difficulties in reopening. And as they have reopened, the incident rate has increased significantly in some countries, resulting in localised lockdowns, city-wide lockdowns as well. We want to avoid that in Ireland at all costs. And that really speaks to two things: our own individual behaviour as families, communities, and aligned to that then the need, as I said earlier, to develop a very strong, speedy testing and contact tracing system. And to be fair, in the last month alone, a very substantial number of tests have taken place on a systemic basis within nursing homes, for example, across the country. And that type of targeted work will continue. But it's the speed of that service will be very, very important in enabling us to suppress the spread of the virus into the future.
Thank you, Taoiseach. Deputy O'Donoghue.
Thank you, Taoiseach, and I agree with everything that you have said, but from my point of view is the best way forward for this is anyone leaving this country, and we need an all-Ireland approach, anyone leaving this country by air or by ferry, that the passport number should be linked. It is the fastest way to be policed, because the policing of this pandemic using a passport system is the fastest way to track anybody leaving this country and coming into this. That's children, parents, everyone is tracked leaving, everyone is tracked coming back. So it makes the traceability for the Garda Síochána and for everyone, that they can actually trace people when they come back into the country. And for the likes of our schools going forward, it shows when families are returning, and if a member of a family is returning to a household and has been abroad in one of the high-risk areas outside of the 15, that family then has to isolate and not put the other children in the school systems at risk. The majority of people in Ireland are very cognizant of COVID-19, are very respectful, but we do have a minority of people that do not care, and these are the minority people that we have to police. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Taoiseach, to conclude.
Well, the electronic locator form will give us that capacity to follow up contacts of anyone who has tested positive of COVID-19, and people travelling from areas such as you reference would be jeopardising, the potential would be jeopardising certainly the overall health status of a community or a school. So what's very important is that we have the capacity to contact trace people, and I think the electronic form will give us that to a stronger degree, but also the call centre that we decided last night to establish, which will enable rapid follow-up. The key advice internationally and from the World Health Organization is your capacity to contact people quickly who may have been in contact with somebody who had COVID-19 or has COVID-19. That really is the issue. If we're to live with COVID-19 in a reasonable way that allows activity, that allows people to, as much as possible, to engage in the normal family, community, economic things of life. And so more and more people will pick up, go to this sector or that sector. The fundamentals haven't changed in relation to COVID-19. Etiquette, the hand washing, the social distancing, the guidance that we introduced 2 weeks ago in terms of keeping gatherings in households to 10, for example. Those are the essentials that will ultimately enable us to live reasonably with COVID-19 into the foreseeable future.
Thank you very much.